your disappointment, and I take responsibility for this loss. To all the Conservative candidates and campaigners who worked tirelessly but without success, I am sorry that we could not deliver what your efforts deserved. It pains me to think how many good colleagues who contributed so much to their communities and our country will now no longer sit in the House of Commons. I thank them for their hard work and their service. Following this result, I will step down as party leader, not immediately, but once the formal arrangements for selecting my successor are in place. It is important that after 14 years in government, the Conservative Party rebuilds, but also that it takes up its crucial role in opposition professionally and effectively. When I first stood here as your Prime Minister, I told you the most important task I had was to return stability to our economy. Inflation is back to target, mortgage rates are falling, and growth has returned. We have enhanced our standing in the world, rebuilding relations with allies, leading global efforts to support Ukraine, and becoming the home of a new generation of transformative technologies. And our United Kingdom is stronger too, with the Windsor Framework, devolution restored in Northern Ireland, and our union strengthened. I'm proud of those achievements. I believe this country is safer, stronger, and more secure than it was 20 months ago. And it is more prosperous, fairer, and resilient than it was in 2010. Whilst he has been my political opponent, Sir Keir Starmer will shortly become our Prime Minister. In this job, his successes will be all our successors, and I wish him and his family well. Whatever our disagreements in this campaign, he is a decent, public-spirited man who I respect. He and his family deserve the very best of our understanding as they make the huge transition to their new lives behind this door, and as he grapples with this most demanding of jobs in an increasingly unstable world. I'd like to thank my colleagues, my cabinet, the civil service, especially here in Downing Street, the team at Chequers, my staff, CCHQ, but most of all, I'd like to express my gratitude to my wife Akshata and our beautiful daughters. I can never thank them enough for the sacrifices they have made so that I might serve our country. One of the most remarkable things about Britain is just how unremarkable it is that 2 generations after my grandparents came here with little, I could become Prime Minister, and that I could watch my 2 young daughters light Diwali candles on the steps in Downing Street. We must hold true to that idea of who we are, that vision of kindness, decency, and tolerance that has always been the British way. This is a difficult day, at the end of a number of difficult days. But I leave this job honoured to have been your Prime Minister. This is the best country in the world, and it is thanks entirely to you, the British people, the true source of all our achievements, our strengths, and our greatness. Thank you.
Rishi Sunak conceding defeat after multiple cabinet members lost their seats. The scale of the Tory defeat clear. He's now in fact spoken about the fact that very soon he will be stepping down as the leader of the party. Not immediately. He's thanked his family members leaving 10 Downing Street today. Conceding defeat, Rishi Sunak has spoken about the country being an extraordinary one. And these are pictures, in fact, coming in from 10 Downing Street as Rishi Sunak, along with his wife, leave the official residence of the Prime Minister.
Have audio in the end.
Keir Starmer will be Britain's next Prime Minister with his centre-left Labour Party. returning with a huge majority. This, of course, has ended the 14 years of often tumultuous Conservative government. This is by trouncing Rishi Sunak's party. These are pictures, in fact, coming in from 10 Downing Street in London, where Rishi Sunak conceded defeat and spoke about the fact that he will also, in fact, resign as the leader of the party. Soon, in fact, when the process to choose the next leader is underway. Multiple cabinet members lost their seats, and he spoke about their work and their contribution a while ago. Pictures are of the outgoing British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and his wife Akshata leaving 10 Downing Street at this moment, the official residence of the Prime Minister. Prime Minister Narendra Modi a while ago also, in fact, congratulated Keir Starmer on the massive win in the UK, praising Rishi Sunak. I'm going to go straight across to my colleague Gaurav Sawant, getting us more details in that story. Gaurav, with an announcement, the end of the Rishi Raj really in the United Kingdom, but what stands out is the manner in which, essentially he's not just conceded defeat, he's also spoken about the fact that he's taking responsibility and stepping down as the leader of the party.
This was on the cards,
Yes.
and this is on expected lines. The fact that the Conservatives were actually fighting to ensure that this kind of majority, Labour wasn't able to get this kind of majority, but they did not succeed, given the fact that they had been in power for a decade and a half, and this was absolutely on the cards in the United Kingdom. This had been predicted, given the manner in which things were going in the United Kingdom. As far as the Labour is concerned, all through their campaign was, this is the time for change, and change is here, and they were able to get across that point all across the fact that they've got 405 of 650 seats in the United Kingdom, the fact that Liberal Democrats have been able to get 67 and the Conservatives reduced to 111 goes on to show that Britain actually wanted change after 15 years of Conservatives in power. For Rishi Sunak, of course, the only downside the fact that he's no longer Prime Minister or leader of Conservatives was the fact that this defeat came when he was at the helm of affairs at 10 Downing Street, but was on the cards all along.
Will absolutely be with us, Gaurav. I'm going to be bringing in Geeta Mohan, Foreign Affairs Director, who's right now, in fact, in the UK tracking that big election. From there, Geeta, he says, I'm sorry, I take responsibility for the loss as he leaves 10 Downing Street.
Well, that's right. I'm right outside 10 Downing Street. Can you just give me some way? Yeah. I'm right outside 10 Downing Street, and over here you can see the security is in place, and a lot of people have gathered right outside. There you go, right outside 10 Downing, and Rishi Sunak just left for Buckingham Palace. He's going to tender his resignation, and he no longer then will be Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. But a lot of people over here gathered have been saying goodbye to the Tories. Mark, if I could just ask you to join me. You have been over here saying goodbye to the Tories along with your friends. How excited are you that the Labour has returned to power after 14 years of Conservative rule?
I would say I'm more relieved. And what I'm looking forward to is that the anticipated legislation to crack down on the corruption that's been rife in the Conservative Party will take hold. So if I had Keir Starmer's ear, I would say the legislation that need to be fast-tracked. The first is the crackdown on non-doms and tax avoidance, and I think we all know a particular target for that. And the second would be on the corruption during the COVID pandemic, when everybody was doing their bit, except for the Conservative Party, who were filling their boots with corrupt PPE contracts. So I'm more excited in anticipation of retribution for years of corruption. And of course, the backdrop to all of this is the damage that's been done by Brexit, which anybody who has any common sense realises is a complete
Do
nonsense.
you think Keir Starmer and his party will look at maybe rejoining or in a phased manner look at being a part of the European Union?
I don't think he will do at first. I don't think he'd be allowed to, and I don't think it's a sensible thing to do. But what's going to reverse Brexit is the fact that it was just a ridiculously bad decision. So in the end, the people will demand that it's reversed. Now, of course, when it's reversed, we're going to get worse terms than we had when we were in the first place.
Absolutely.
But we'll just have to live with it. So in the end, it's the people who will demand that Brexit's going to be reversed. But Starmer can't do it straight away. I mean, let's face it, he's got a broken economy, he's got a society on its knees, and we've got to get rid of the corruption.
Right. Thank you so much, Mark, for joining us. A lot of people over here, Sneha, and most of them are Labour supporters who've come out. They were singing and dancing to farewell songs to the Tories, and now because Rishi Sunak has just left for the palace, they no longer are doing that and are waiting maybe for him to return. But this is an exciting day for all those who waited for the Conservative rule to end, and now because the Conservative rule has indeed come to an end. There is a lot of expectations, but there are a lot of challenges ahead for Keir Starmer. We'll have to wait and see how that really pans out. Look at this. This lady over here is holding a board saying, "Bye bye Tories." Why do you say bye bye Tories?
Just because of 14 years of hell, and I'm so happy, and all those awful, austerity. I can't know how much is that list, but austerity for me. Partygate and Brexit, they're the architects of Partygate and Brexit. I will never forgive them for that.
Okay. So bye-bye Tories for you.
So yeah, it's a great day. Yeah.
Okay, it's a great day is what's your name?
Louise.
It's a great day is what Louise is saying. And you can see a lot of people behind me as well who are waiting again. A lot of them waiting to see what's happening. Some of them are tourists as well, Sneha. They're here on travel, and then because the elections are taking place and there's so much of fanfare or a crowd around here and around Birmingham Palace is the reason why they've all stopped to see what's really happening. So we will in some time see Rishi Sunak return over here, and then from here he will then be moving back to Richmond. When that is going to happen is something we'll have to wait and see. But in the afternoon, Keir Starmer will be called to form the government. It is a thumping majority, a landslide win for the Labour Party. And yes, Keir Starmer has this entire day to enjoy and be with his Labour followers and his party and his people who actually helped him win this election. The entire day will go with all the celebrations, but we will see the party come together to form a plan as to what the new government should be doing and looking like.